He have got home now for the final time. K-9 Officer Sierra Burton, K-9 2 of the Richmond Police Department. Is 1042.
One final call for Richmond Police Officer Sierra Burton. The 28-year-old served the Richmond Police Department for 4 years. She passed away last Sunday, 5 weeks after she was shot in the line of duty. Today, the community bids farewell. Hundreds coming out to Richmond High School to say goodbye and thank her for her service.
Now we have team coverage tonight. Let's go first to Mamie Ba, who is live in Richmond where the funeral service took place. Mamie.
A very sad day for the people who arrived here, but for some, it's a sense of closure as they bid farewell. Now, inside Richmond High School, through these doors, there were laughters and smiles and laughs, as many, including Officer Sierra Burton's stepmother and her fiancé, remembered her.
Hundreds fill Richmond High School to say goodbye one final time to Officer Sierra Burton.
The girl in blue died for me and you. We must remember her.
Sierra was a hero the day she displayed the courage to take her oath. She was a hero every day she put on that uniform. And she lies before us a hero today.
To Richmond residents, her brothers and sisters in blue who sat shoulder to shoulder, but most of all to her family.
Junior, I was honored to work beside you, and I was honored to be your bonus mom. I promise I will continue to take care of your mother.
Sniffles filled Tyrion Center, but this was just the beginning. Sierra Neal, Burton's fiancé, said a few words.
Even standing here right now, it still isn't real. Behind that badge was the woman of my dreams. A woman who could be treated and talked to in awful ways for 8 hours a day at work and could still come home and laugh.
Burton and Neal were to be married before the 28-year-old was shot in the line of duty. Her colleagues say she's now watching over them.
I know that my son and fellow officers will forever have a guardian angel.
A moment of silence for the fallen hero, as her brothers and sisters carry her out for one final ride and call.
The Richmond Police Department says that this is a time of healing for the city. Now I'm going to toss it over to my colleague Allison Walker, who's live at the Richmond Municipal Building. Allison, I understand a procession just wrapped up.
Yes, well, that's right, Mamie. Officer Sierra Burton's procession was incredibly emotional as hundreds lined the streets here in downtown Richmond to pay their final goodbyes. People were also leaving these emotional notes with their blessings. As Officer Sierra Burton's colleagues escorted her to the Richmond Police Department from Richmond High School, candles, flowers, and countless community members lined the streets, holding photos of Burton. The procession then paused in front of her department for her heart-wrenching final call.
K-9 Officer Burton demonstrated commitment, professionalism, and dedication. Every moment of every day, and proudly wore the badge as a warrior for her community. She have got home now for the final time. K-9 Officer Sierra Burton, K-9 2 of the Richmond Police Department. Is 1042.
After the emotional last call, you can see Officer Burton's colleagues holding her canine and ending with a final salute. Burton was then escorted to Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis, her final resting place. And as you can see here, the community is still mourning the loss tonight, and people have come out to honor Officer Burton's legacy by placing tributes right here on her police cruiser. Reporting live here in Richmond, Allison Walker, Dayton 24, 7 Now News.
Allison, thank you. And the Donut Mills Funeral Home has created a life tributes page for you to read her obituary, share a memory, watch a tribute video, and send flowers to the Burton family. You can find this on donutmillsfuneralhome.com. And we've linked that information in our web stories as well. You can find all of our coverage of today's services for Officer Burton and everything and everyone celebrating the life that she lived at Dayton247now.com. Just search for Sierra.
And of course, we join the Richmond community and everyone mourning Officer Burton tonight. May she rest in peace.
A live look now as the sun sets over the Capitol building. We are looking ahead to Wednesday at noon, We're expecting this week's January 6th public hearing to be the last. It'll fill in details learned since the last hearing in August. Now, again, this will be the final hearing before the Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol will release its final report.
All right, a pretty perfect day here in the Miami Valley. Lots of sunshine, not too hot, not too cold. Natalie, I feel like when we talk about fall, this is the kind of day we're talking about.
Picture perfect day out there. A little bit of a breeze. Probably notice some of the leaves are actually starting to change out there too. It's feeling great overall. Mid-60s, looking good. 64 is our temperature in Dayton, 64 in Troy, just 60 in Bellefontaine right now. Now we do have a little bit more cloud cover making its way in, and we also have a couple of showers that have managed to pop up, and we'll continue to track a shower or two through this evening and even into the day tomorrow as we have a trough just off to our north. So northern counties, again, spotty showers. We do have a cloudier sky right now, but it does look like we are going to see some clearing as we head into this evening. So should be a pretty nice night. Lows, it's going to be chilly in the upper 40s. Partly cloudy skies expected with our westerly wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. But coming up, I am talking about a pretty fall-like week. I'll let you know if we have any 70s in the forecast in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks. Hurricane Ian now moving at full steam ahead towards Cuba right now. It's expected to rise to a Category 4 storm. Tonight it's at Category 2. Right in its path is Florida, where heavy rain and flooding, hurricane-force winds plus life-threatening storm surges are expected. The whole state is going to feel the impact of this, and parts of Florida are now under mandatory evacuation orders, including the Tampa Bay area. And they haven't seen a hurricane like this strong in a century. Mayors along the coast warning residents to take this seriously and that rescuers won't respond to areas under mandatory evacuation.
This could be the storm that we've hoped would never come to our shores.
Mother Nature always wins, and this storm is going to be a very impactful storm.
The one thing I hear most common after these disasters is, if I had only known it would be this bad. And so I think that's my message to them, is we're trying to communicate to you that it can be that bad.
The White House has approved an emergency declaration which will help federal and state officials coordinate disaster relief and assistance. Millions of meals and liters of water are being prepared. The Florida National Guard has activated 5,000 guardsmen and 2,000 extras from Tennessee, Georgia, and North Carolina also on their way to help. And speaking on their way to help, 47 members of Ohio Task Force 1 have also been deployed. They headed to Florida Saturday and are now in Alabama. The team is remaining flexible. Task Force leader Jack Reel says everyone is healthy, in good spirits, and ready to do good work for the impacted area. Now, Puerto Rico is still recovering from a different storm. Hurricane Fiona swept across that island last week, killing at least 8 people and causing the island's 3.3 million residents to all lose power. Nearly 750,000 of those homes and businesses are still without power tonight. And this comes as Hurricane Maria caused catastrophic damage 5 years ago, which the island was still recovering from when Fiona hit. Edward Snowden is officially a Russian citizen tonight. Megan is at the Now Desk, so how did this happen?
Well, Adam, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree today, making it official. As you may remember, Snowden worked as a contractor with the National Security Agency in the U.S. and leaked classified documents detailing surveillance programs. He then fled the country and has been living in Russia since 2013, trying to avoid being prosecuted in the U.S. Snowden was one of 75 foreign nationals granted Russian citizenship today. Now, the State Department maintains its position that Snowden should return to the U.S. to face justice as any other American citizen would. There has been some talk online about Putin's motive with this move, as he's recently said he plans to draft as many as 300,000 men to fight in Ukraine. However, Snowden is 39 and has no military training, meaning he doesn't meet the legally mandated training requirements.
Bellbrook Sugar Creek Local Schools holding a special meeting tonight. The board is currently in an executive session regarding an investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee. Now, while he wasn't named in the agenda for tonight's meeting, the district superintendent, Doug Kozat, faced charges after an investigation into the misuse of public funds. Now, again, it's unclear if it is related. We do have a crew there at that meeting, though, and as we learn new information about what's happening inside of it, we'll update you here on air and online.
A new tool may soon be coming in the fight against COVID-19 for kids. Today, Pfizer and BioNTech announced that they've asked the FDA for emergency use authorization. It's for an updated booster shot for 5 to 11-year-olds. Officials say this shot focuses on original COVID strains as well as new variants. Pfizer's bivalent vaccine is already authorized for people 12 and older. Moderna also filed for authorization of its newest booster for kids as young as 6.
The White House wants to make flight tickets more transparent. President Biden expected to propose a new rule calling on the travel industry to be more upfront about how customers are being charged for baggage, cancellations, flight changes. The Department of Transportation says travel sites and airlines will have to disclose any possible additional fees the first time an airfare is displayed. A White House official says the president will stress the importance of travelers being able to see exactly how much those tickets will cost.
All right, we're still working on a couple of stories for you after the break. First, the trial of George Wagner, the fourth, entering its third week now. After the break, we're going to hear about the fourth crime scene and what the bullets revealed about the murders.
And NASA is smashing a spacecraft into an asteroid on purpose. Up next, the bigger life-saving goal this mission is all a part of.
Plus, I'm tracking fall-like weather through this week. I'll let you know how long it lasts coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
It's been a while since we've seen a video of a dust devil, but check out this one that was in a school playground late last week in Bristol, Tennessee. It was very well formed and fairly strong, but dissipated pretty quickly as well. We see more of them during the summer months since they start out as hot air near the surface suddenly rising when an area of much cooler air moves above it. Also, they occur when skies are clear and winds are light.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
The third week of testimony in the murder trial of George Wagner IV kicked off today. Prosecutors dove into the fourth crime scene. That's where deputies found the eighth and final victim of the Pike County massacre more than 6 years ago. An Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation special agent testified and described that scene. He said Kenneth Roden's body did not appear to have been moved.
Were you able to say, looking at him there, whether he would have been awake or asleep, or is there a way to determine that?
Again, in my opinion, I would say he was asleep.
Now, the agent also showed the jury the single shell casing found on the bed. He said it was from a .40 caliber handgun. That was different from the .22 caliber shells found at previous scenes, but he did say that the bullet inside Kenneth's head was the same kind found in Chris Sr. and Gary Roden. George Wagner is one of 4 members of his own family accused in the murder plot in the shooting deaths of 8 members of the Roden and Gilly families. That trial will continue tomorrow.
Well, nice day across the Miami Valley. Beautiful fall-like weather. Now, we do have a couple of showers that have managed to pop up. This is with a trough just off to our north, so our northeastern counties from Logan, Champaign County into Clark County. Can't rule out a shower or two for the rest of this evening. And overall cloudier skies out there right now, but we will eventually see some clearing through the rest of this evening. So pretty sight tonight. Jupiter at opposition. We're going to talk more about that in just a bit, but should have enough clearing at times to be able to see it, with lows dropping into the 40s overnight. Another chance for a shower or two, a lot like what we saw today. For the day tomorrow, temperatures back into the lower 60s for the afternoon. On Wednesday, we start out in the 40s, but managed to stay in the 50s and 60s for the afternoon.
All right, Natalie, thanks so much. This is a live look now at Crown Hill Cemetery in Indianapolis. You can see the hearse carrying Officer Sierra Burton has just arrived there. Hundreds gathered to help her arrive to her final resting place. You can watch this coverage right now live on our Dayton 24/7 Now Facebook page.
What has now been 10 days, and protests in Iran are still growing after a 22-year-old woman died in police custody. And those protests have now spread all over the world, including here in the U.S. Thousands have gathered in London, Paris, Colorado, and Washington State to support demonstrations demanding wider freedoms and women's rights. Women are protesting mandatory dress codes, burning their hijabs, and cutting their hair on public streets. Mahsa Amini was allegedly beaten to death while in police custody, accused of not wearing her hijab properly. Iranian authorities say she died of a heart attack, but a skull CT scan shows blunt force trauma.
We are here to chant what the Iranians are chanting in front of tanks and in front of bullets, and the freedom that we have here. People are getting killed in the streets of Iran, and we need our elected officials, we need our leaders to take action. We need President Biden to take action and to support the Iranian people.
Now, at least 41 people have now died in Iran as part of these protests. Internet service in the country has largely been shut down, making it very hard to verify that death toll or even know what's happening. But we're hearing a government crackdown is underway. The UN and others are calling for an independent investigation into her death. Well, it'll soon be easier to travel to Canada. Megan is at the Now Desk, so what's changing?
Yeah, Adam, Canada is set to remove its COVID border entry restrictions starting this Saturday, October 1st. Now, they've been in place for 2.5 years. The changes are going to include testing, quarantine, and isolation requirements for people entering the country. A Canadian transportation official says visitors will also no longer be required to undergo health checks or wear masks for travel on planes or trains. Similar changes will also apply to cruise line passengers and crews who will no longer be subject to vaccine requirements or testing before boarding.
A story now from our partners at the Dayton Business Journal tonight. Michigan-based Kendall Electric is investing nearly $14 million to construct a 115,000 square foot distribution center and warehouse in Vandalia. Now, that building will serve as the company's Midwest headquarters, will bring 45 full-time jobs to the area. An additional 15 jobs will be added within 12 months of completion. The anticipated payroll by year 3 is $4.5 million. Work already underway, expected to wrap up in March of 2023. And if you'd like to read more information, you can go to Dayton247now.com. You can find this story and others like it under the Dayton Business Journal heading. That is in the News tab. Well, crashing a spacecraft into an asteroid may sound like something out of a movie, but it is happening today on purpose. It's NASA's first attempt to change the orbit of an asteroid, happening about 7 million miles away. The craft will smash head-on into the asteroid at about 14,000 miles per hour with the goal of slowing it down, keeping it from colliding with a bigger asteroid. Now, the point of that test is to make sure we can divert killer asteroids in the future if needed. Now, NASA says there's no chance that that asteroid will threaten Earth, which is why it was picked. More big news from space tonight. There's something very special in the sky to see. Jupiter is going to be much closer than normal. NASA says this is the nearest the planet has been to Earth in nearly 6 decades. Jupiter, the largest planet in our solar system, will appear bigger and brighter because it'll only be 367 million miles away. That's almost half the distance Jupiter is from Earth at its farthest. Now, the best place for you to get a good view would be a high elevated spot in a dark, dry area.
All right, a live look now from our Kettering Health Skycam over downtown Dayton. It really was an absolutely gorgeous day here in the Miami Valley, but I gotta tell you, out here live now on our exclusive Watson's Weather patio, it's a little bit chilly.
Yeah, got a little chill in the air right now. If you're heading out this evening, you may need a light sweater or a jacket, but maybe a great evening to sit out on the patio like we are right now.
And it sounds like the rest of the week
looking pretty good. Actually, even cooler weather in the forecast. So if you thought today was cool, we actually have some cooler days ahead for us. This is a look at what we're tracking as we head into these next several days. So lower 60s both Tuesday as well as for our Wednesday. And then notice as we head into the end of the week, we do start to see temperatures climb back up to 70 on Friday, but technically that is still below normal for this time of the year. Upper 60s on Saturday. It's not really until we head into next week we see some bigger rain chances arrive. So coming up, I'll have a look at that 7-day, talk about when we'll have our next shot at some rain.
Natalie, thanks. Well, Dayton is finally cooling down, as you just heard, and you're probably getting into that fall spirit. So ahead, where you can go to get a piece of autumn home for you and your family. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Live look at Grace Methodist Church now, where the Dayton unit of the NAACP is about to host a special forum. Its Meet the Candidates event allows community voters to come out and meet several candidates. They're running for U.S. House of Representatives, Ohio Senate, Ohio State Representative, as well as Ohio School Board and positions in Montgomery County. It starts in about 20 minutes, and coming up tonight at 10 and 11, we'll hear how candidates for office plan to address the needs of the Dayton community.
Well, finally, some cooler air here in the Miami Valley, and it's sparking lots of fall fun. Lise Coulter shows us where you can grab a pumpkin and hop on a hayride.
There are lots of fall things to do because it's certainly feeling like fall out these days. Tom's Maze, this one is always great because they always do something really unique with the maze. I'm not gonna lie, I would get lost in that, so I'm gonna pass. But you can check them out, $10 per person. It's a lot of fun. Another great fall activity as well. Katie's Pumpkin Barn, I was there last year. They've got animals out for the kids to hang out with. Goats, the goats are really fun. And they've got all kinds of pumpkins to take a look at too. And then, of course, you wanna check out Fulton Farms. It is one of the best pumpkin patches around in the area. They have pumpkin patch hay rides. Those go every day from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. until Halloween night.
Well, it's looking great for a pumpkin patch really all week long. Tomorrow's looking like another nice day for it, with temperatures that are going to be below normal for this time of the year. We'll start out with temperatures in the 50s. Now, we can't rule out a spot shower really for the first half of the day. 50s around 10 a.m., getting into the lower 60s through the afternoon with more sunshine by later into the evening, but really just looking nice, comfortable, low humidity, maybe sweater weather for the day tomorrow. Our extended forecast does show a few showers in the forecast tomorrow, and then we gradually climb. So still a cool one on Wednesday, 62, but back up to 70 degrees on Friday, which is still technically below normal for this time of the year. And then notice as we head into the weekend, we do start to see some showers by the start of next week, and that's actually due to right now Hurricane Ian. We could see some of the remnants right here in the Miami Valley, so we're going to be monitoring that. So I do have a chance for rain by next Sunday and Monday because of that.
Boy, 62.
Yeah,
That's quite a kick.
It's feeling pretty good. Yeah, actually stepping outside this evening, you may need a sweater or something to keep yourself nice and warm.
Yeah, it really fools you. If you're out of the sun at all, it just drops dramatically.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, that does it for us. We are over on Fox 45 next. We hope you join us there. In the meantime, you can always connect with us on social media.